is indeed LAPD group stalking by helicopter. And this is the same apartment where you're looking at light appearing in all corners of my apartment above my bedroom door and the depths, as though the sunrise is occurring outside of my window. And remembering what I just captured last night, the ongoing pattern with the sunlight, what the entity is doing inside of my bedroom, creating light activity, and that there's an ongoing glowing of light. It gets brighter and it gets dimmer and it gets brighter and it's dimmer. It's the same terrorism via directed light while the entity is obsessively stalking in helicopters. It's currently 11:31 in the morning. The light source is directly above my apartment. There's LAPD that is group stalking in the path. Oops, sorry, hold on. That's called crossing path. And also be mindful of the fact that the entity is stalking in more than one helicopter, okay? And they're also doing this while that they're being captured on video. The entity is engaging in what is group stalking in multiple, literally engaging what is massive surveillance in planes and helicopters, but it's more than one helicopter. So you'll have one, while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented, these demons are providing evidence against itself, while it's also going to inform the world as to how the states and the US are monitoring American citizens. Nonetheless, the entity is amplifying helicopter activity while I'm inside of my apartment from that location over there. I wouldn't be able to hear it. Understand that. Number two, the entity is engaging in what is group stalking in more than one helicopter. So also mindful of the fact that they're being captured on video. They know exactly when I'm turning on my camera. They know everything I'm doing on my phone. They're literally engaging in slowing down the internet because they don't want me to upload it to the internet, okay? Right now, what you're looking at is what is entirely demonic. This is called manning the path. This demon is flying back and forth in helicopter. That's what's going on right here. This is the psychotic behavior that the entity engaged in close proximity to my apartment for 47 minutes, flying in a circle. That's what they're doing right now in relevant position at the hillside. That's the same hillside where you're observing the so-called sunset. The sunrise, where I am facing the east. I want to document something also which is relevant to group stalking by the entirety of the entity that is law enforcement. The Los Angeles Police Academy is in relevant position to my location right here. That's directly relevant to what is group stalking by the venue, the state facilitating venue, that is the Los Angeles Police Department, the LA Sheriff's Department. The Los Angeles Academy is in relevant position to my location where I live. They are indeed group stalking as well as a facility, a state facility where group stalking is underway. So I want to make sure that you also are aware of that. But again, the federal government would not be ignorant of that. This is just everything that I'm spilling out. While this documentation is a matter of public information that's going to be distributed to the world as you're witnessing exposure of what is America's version of terrorism, and it is underway by a government. This is obviously a corrupt government, and it's also a government that's practicing demonic activity, and this is also teaching the masses about what demon possession actually is, contrary to what you've been given, and that's been given to you deliberately in order to, if you will, throw you off the trail, okay? Satan wanting you to identify specific things or particular ideas or appearances as demon possession, and it is not. It's actually, demon possession wants to, at this greater heightened level of seeking to deceive the masses. Demon possession is that which wants to maintain the sense of normalcy, whatever that is, whatever you assign as normal. That's what demon possession is seeking to take the form of. And this is where you have the demon possessed looking to the left and the right, keeping their back to you, walking right in front of you on their communication device under the light source. None of this is persuasive. All of us that are witnessing this documentation that are not the demon possessed, the federal government, we are the normal people you're looking at all the evidence. So all of this you're privy to, and then you're looking at the demon possessed who are literally, they're underscored. You're circling them in red pen. They're highlighted. They're standing out like a sore thumb while they want to maintain a sense of normalcy next to you. Understand that. But it's not persuasive under the fake sun. It's not persuasive in engineered light. It's not persuasive when you're documenting that ongoing stalking with engineered light all over services. But that's the form that the demon possessed want to maintain. That is the ongoing desire, by the way, the purpose, the design, the agenda. At this point in time, the demon possessed, this demonic agenda wants to maintain a sense and appearance of normalcy, and they are not. Okay, so also be mindful of that. But it is currently 11:35 a.m. and as a matter of documentation, the light source remains directly above my head. It's still on this side of the property. The entity knows that it's being documented, even though I've already shown you, but the light source remains here. It remains literally here on this side of the apartment. The entity is engaging in what is maintaining a light source for the duration of the day. The demon possessed are crossing path obsessively on the streets, on Lobdell, on Effie, crossing path right now with simultaneity to my mentioning that they're group stalking on the roads and the highways, crossing path and what is that orange vehicle? Let me be clear. There is never under any circumstances going to be engineered light. So the absence of what is engineered light moving across Lobdell Place, you've already seen waste management crossing path with the presence of the engineered light, just like you saw waste management engaging in. It is speaking to what is never going to occur, not even one time. The demons are engaging in what is the ability to cross path, exhibiting their demon possession, and also engaging in what is the ability to refrain from that demonic activity, which is documented terrorism. The ability to engage in it more than one time is clinically referred to as a pattern, and it is speaking to what is an unmistakable pattern that is documented also by the people that stay in an entirely different region. That is tying together every single last person. It's not the assumption of somebody that's an exception to the pattern of conduct. Remember, they are still under the light source, which remains over my head. That's how you're understanding what is a demon. That's group stalking. They're also engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. It is currently 11:36 a.m. This is documenting what is the sex offense, because I'm subject to surveillance. The entity knows when my clothes are off. The entity knows when I'm making a movement. The entity knows when my panties are down. The entity knows when I'm moving my big toe. The entity knows when I'm getting in and out of my bed. The entity knows what room I'm in. The entity knows what I'm doing on the internet on my new MacBook. The entity knows when I'm turning on my cell phone, what I'm looking at on my cell phone. They know how much money is in my bank account. They're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking. So I'm going to show you the light source, which remains directly over my apartment, which is in conformity to the ongoing pattern of conduct. The entity is maintaining that light source as you are looking at the engineered light that's all over the property. The light source is as the ongoing method of stalking while I remain subject to that state surveillance. And this stalking where you're documenting it, that's serving to what is the public safety concern to American citizens. Remember, I'm not only exposing this and prosecuting it for my own good, it's for the benefit of the public good, okay? It is serving the public good because it is letting you know, it is informing you about what is an ongoing obsession. Let me be clear. A normal person that might find themselves falling into something like, oh, maybe I'm a little obsessed, I'm stalking somebody, but let me pull back a little bit. Maybe I should refrain. Maybe I should go get some sort of counseling. Maybe I should go seek some help because maybe, this person doesn't like that. And I can understand that. I can understand the target individual might not want me to follow her around or engage in what is weird conduct, wizardry with light, or, be aware of how much money she's spending when she's going to Ralph's, and then, a normal person would, in other words, stop. Especially when you are aware of the fact, because they're engaged in federal stalking, they're engaged in surveillance, they're engaged in invasion of privacy. They know every word that I'm uttering. They know everything that I'm uploading, documenting on my phone. They know everything with regard to my location and the fact that I'm aware of it as I'm documenting them by name, social security number, image on video. But this is revealing what is serving the public good, that it is a real threat to American citizens in this country, that this ongoing demonic agenda exists, and it sought to it sought to continue in secrecy, in the darkness, okay? And that's no longer the case, and the entity persists. Therein lies the threat. All right, this is the light source that's directly over my apartment, okay? It is currently 11:39 in the morning. That is capturing the pattern of conduct. A demon crossing path, including engineered light, moving all across the surface, is nonetheless a demon. That's group stalking. Let me be clear. I remain surrounded by engineered light. This is engineered light that's moving across, that's placed on the ceiling. And while a demon is crossing path on the ground, they don't have to engage in that outward demonstration of demon possession. Their engagement in any element of monitoring is the demonstration of demon possession. They are also filling my apartment with engineered light, and understand how the same is being accomplished while you're crossing path and the entity fills my apartment with engineered light, or when you are crossing path and you're stalking as a demon and engineered light's moving all across the surface, understand how they're accomplishing the same. That is no suggestion of any innocence, or any exception, or any exception to the pattern of conduct or the condition of those that are surrounding in relevant position. So the thing that I want to remind you of, and remember, this is starting with what is the video documentation of LAPD, who then engaged in what is flying in a circle at that hillside. And I also want you to be mindful of the fact that the entity is group stalking. The LA Academy is on the opposite side of that hillside. They're group stalking as a facilitating venue, the Los Angeles Academy. So I want you to be aware of that. But let's remind ourselves about what's going on this day. While again, as of 11:40, while LAPD is flying over by helicopter, I still have a failure of internet. So I want to document what is ongoing obstruction of justice, which the people of the state spectrum is going to be prosecuted for civilly and criminally. This is, again, inherent to the pattern of conduct that you have a right to not be subject to. So the internet provider, which is, my bill is paid. Okay. I pay all my bills on time, by the way. The entity is engaging in what is obstruction of justice. It's not a coincidence, and it is legally relevant that the government that's monitoring me, and I also am, while subject to that criminal system, suffering some sort of internet failure. And I'm putting that in air quotes. I am saying that I am being facetious in every regard. That is within the pattern of conduct. While the entity is monitoring my uploading my podcast, everything that I am downloading onto my phone, onto my MacBook, all the evidence, the video documentation, very compelling evidence, which you are able to see face to face where I'm at on the same day 2 years ago, same time of year, it literally down to the same time. And the entity is keeping a light source, for example, over me at Chino Branch Library, and you're looking at it through the window of my apartment in Los Angeles. The two are not happening at the same time. The sunlight inside of my apartment is impossible to occur, even when you're looking at what's just supposed, even when you don't even compare it, in other words, to what's going on in Chino, California, what's going on under the roof of the Upland Public Library in Upland, California. And then you're looking at this circuits of lights inside of my apartment in Los Angeles. While, by the way, you have the ongoing hallmark, which is a pattern. In this environment, which is entirely demonic, police departments like to engage in stalking and harassing you in helicopters. That's an ongoing, consistent pattern. And the entity is doing this while it is all engaged in, at the same time, corporate invasion of privacy, corporate surveillance on the venue of the internet. So forgive me, I'm doing a couple things at the same time. I want to document so that you can see approximately where I'm at on May 5th, 2022. It looks like I'm still inside of the Upland Public Library. This is what I'm capturing on video as I walked in at 10:14 in the morning. And the light source is directly over. This is all engineered light. That's all engineered light. That's not going to be sunlight. Let me turn this down. That's not going to be sunlight when you're looking at the so-called light source over my apartment at 11:43 is what you just saw right now. You just saw that right over my apartment building. Again, my address is 1806 North Alvarado Street. I'm on the 3rd floor. My apartment living room side is facing the east. This hillside where you saw the so-called sunrise at 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. At no point could the sun be over the Upland Public Library like you see right here. This is 10:14 in the morning. That's impossible, ladies and gentlemen. That is capturing the specific environment. It is 11:43 in the morning. Let's see if I captured any more images. So the next pictures I capture are group stalkers inside of the Upland Public Library at 12:44. All right, this is called group stalking, and I'm showing you close-up images of what is engineered light on the floors of the Upland Public Library at 12:44 in the afternoon. Do you know where the sun's going to be at 12:44 in the afternoon? Let me remind you. What I've already captured video of, it's going to be right here over my apartment. Okay, right here. It's not going anywhere. Matter of fact, I captured video just the other day of the light source, as you just saw outside of my front door. And that's because I walked out of my front door. The light source is now right here it's actually right here above my head. The light source moves wherever I move. So as I walk here, in an effort to contain restrain from being seen, and I literally mean that, this is the demonic. You're looking at the personification of Satan, and that's being exhibited through the environment. The demon-possessed, the entity, including the environment that is following me, it is demonic activity. So what I'm assigning, as though I'm talking about a person, it's literally that. It is the demonic. That's why I'm speaking in the terms that I am. I'm very much aware of that, and you need to pay attention and follow. Wherever you are, it is impossible that you are looking at the sun while you just saw video of me standing outside of my front door and the light source is directly above me. That's impossible to be the case. The sun that's hovering over my front door is not over you in another state, in Nevada, for example. It's certainly not over anybody in Palo Alto. It's not over anyone in Sacramento. It's directly above my front door while I'm in the living room area of my apartment, 1806, facing the east side. Okay, facing the hillside. In addition to that, the entity is maintaining the light source directly over me. So while I'm standing here, this is where the actual light source is. And this is a well-documented pattern. When I'm inside of the Upland Public Library, as I move, and you can see the windows in the roof, the light source moves as I move inside of that building. That's exactly what's happening when I'm inside of this apartment. It moves as I move. While, again, because of the ongoing progress of time, failing, albeit engaging in a demonic imitation of, okay, maintaining the presence all day long while also trying to imitate the movement of the sun from the east side of my apartment to the west side of my apartment. That's the demonic imitation of the natural environment. That's not the sun. That is also asinine, okay? And it's entirely demonic. What I'm capturing at 12:47 p.m., in other words, these pictures where I'm inside of the Upland Public Library on the same day in 2022, this is engineered light on the floor inside of the Upland Public Library. These are all methods of stalking in the path. They have people coming in, engaging in what is service requests. Well, oh, we've got something's wrong. We need you to come and fix this. All they're doing is maintaining presence, pacing all around me, creating noise, opening and closing doors, and they're engaged in monitoring on communication devices inside of the Upland Public Library. They're walking up and down the stairs, pacing all around in the engineered light. This is what I'm documenting at 1:59 p.m. where that light source still remains over the roof of 450 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. Okay, so at 12:47 p.m. just the other day, I remained here and I was juxtaposing that with the San Bernardino Superior Court at 12:47 p.m. The light source is hovering me in the same position that you just saw right now. It's 11:46 a.m. I showed you that at 12:47 p.m. just last week. It's not going anywhere. That is not the sun that would be over the Upland Public Library, not only right now, but remaining there. Remember, on this day in 2022, it was there as I stepped outside of the building at 5:35 in the evening. What was I using as an example? Oh, the sunset. This sun that's still here at 11 in the morning is outside of my window at 5:35 in the evening, at 6:29 as I captured yesterday in the evening, not the sun. In that environment, what is the entity doing? Pacing all around, like you saw in Lobdell Place, while engineered light remains on my ceiling, while the light source remains over my head, because that's not the sun. That's why I use that very specific terminology, while the demons that are affiliated with these law enforcement agencies are exhibiting their demon possession, teaching you the reality of what the demon possessed actually look like, what they actually act like, contrary to what they want you to believe, understanding what is the greater context with regard to a demonic agenda in this country, which is to keep you under surveillance. And they like to use helicopters. Satan is using helicopters, okay, to engage in tormenting and targeting American citizens who are not of that same condition. This is the demon possessed. The demon possessed are group stalking in the United States. All right. And that's the significance of that demon flying that helicopter. And that's LAPD. That whole department is demon infected. That's their secret. That's what they don't want you to know. But this is what you are able to know. You are armed with that important information, because it's not just what Erica Lorraine Spencer told you. You saw them engage in that time and time and time again. And I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why they were doing that. And then I'm pointing out, this is what they're doing, this flying in a circle. They're following me around everywhere, remaining where I'm at in helicopter, while you're looking at what's the sun rising and setting while I'm at the same address all day. Be mindful of that. Those are demons. They're doing that while you're looking at light activity all over the place, appearing even inside of my apartment on the ceilings and all over the walls, just appearing and disappearing. Those are demons stalking in a helicopter. And that's what these law enforcement agencies are doing. This is speaking to, again, advocating against the militarization of law enforcement agencies in this country. It is not serving for your good. It is not serving for your protection. This demonic agenda is directly linked to what's going on with law enforcement agencies in this country. This is exactly why you're talking about those, at the very least. This is informing for greater context, but at the very least, although the state that is documented engaging in this criminal system, it's calling for the ongoing progressive demilitarization of law enforcement agencies in the state. And that is for the protection of the American public, because you're looking at the abuse. All right, you're looking at what is the threat that are those that are in that position right now, and they are engaging in it. They're being empowered by the people of the state who are acting pursuant to that same system. This same demon-possessed entity are the ones that are helping to progress the so-called mental health initiatives. Okay, these so-called policies surrounding what your rights are regarding whether you want to go get a vaccine put in your body or not. Guess who's helping to aid in those initiatives and the creation of those policies? The people of the state. They want you to put certain things in your body. They want to affect your constitutional rights while they're keeping you under surveillance and you don't even know it. And then you're also learning at the same time their true hostility towards your enforcement of your privacy and your constitutional right to not be stalked by the government. They're hostile to it. They are outraged by it. They hate you. That's the reality. That's the truth. Okay? So anyway, it's currently 11:50 a.m. I'm going to digress from that. This is where the light source is remaining. It's not over any Upland Public Library today, as you know. And that is the Los Angeles Police Department group stalking again by helicopter, while Spectrum, the people of the state, engage in the ongoing failure of internet, which is a threat to my life, Because having access to the internet, this is going to be the means whereby American citizens will upload with immediacy to the world wherever they are the criminal conduct that they are subject to, because it is an ongoing emergency for so long as that targeted individual remains subject to that criminal system. All right. So the entity is engaging in kidnapping you, engaging in taking your life. All right, engaging in what is criminally defaming you and silencing you in one way or another while they're abusing their position, sitting in these courthouses where a fake son is documented over such courthouses. It is intolerable. Okay, you will go to federal prison, and all 59 units here, that's exactly what's coming for them. And you're going to disband the demon-possessed agency, that is the Los Angeles Police Department, whose academy is in relevant position to me here, while they're stalking like psychopaths who are necessarily wearing diapers, being violent sex offenders and demons, engaging in documented terrorism, which is America's version in in the so-called free country. But I'm not going to downplay this country. We are free, but you have what are those that are abusing their positions, and so that's the reality. Okay, this hypocrisy. It's not American citizens' fault. What the government is doing, the government is out here abusing the so-called laws. The government is out here demonstrating, exhibiting this hypocrisy. All right, they're doing it to their own citizens while they're out on the world scene. Doing Lord knows what. In other countries. Okay, so I'm not going to speak that against. I do believe in the Constitution. I actually do believe in these laws that I studied. And that's why I studied it, because I actually believe in what the founding fathers laid out as a document for our own protection against this very criminal conduct, the portrayal of our own. This is a domestic enemy. Okay, so I just want to be clear, such domestic enemies, they will be snatched out of those positions. Mark my words. They will be snatched out of those positions, and they will be placed in the cages and in the mental facilities and the straitjackets that they belong in. And they will, as a matter of record, be noted as the terrorists and the sex offenders and the stalkers that they are. All right, and it's not just LAPD. LAPD is just the state that's acting right now while I'm in Los Angeles County, the Ontario Police Department, the Fontana Police Department, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, okay, the Montclair and the Chino Police Department, the Upland Police Department, the San Bernardino Police Department. All right, it is currently, again, 11:52 a.m., and this is P.O.C.